If you grew up in the 1970s, you know it was a truly special time. Unlike any other decade, we rode our bikes until the sun went down, rode in the back of the family station wagon, and covered our school books with brown grocery bags. Life felt simple, safe, and full of small joys. In this video, I've gathered so many things that will take you right back to those wonderful days.
Your new Radio Shack catalog yet? It's free at your nearby Radio Shack, and they're going fast.
Radio Shack was the go-to store for all things electronics in the 70s. Whether you were looking for a new pair of headphones, a portable radio, or even parts to build your own gadgets, Radio Shack had it all. It was a place where technology enthusiasts could geek out, and it became a part of everyday life for many. Kids and adults alike would visit to browse the latest gadgets and marvel at the growing world of electronics. Back in the day, TV stations didn't run all night like they do now. Around 10 p.m., they'd sign off for the night, often with the test pattern flickering on the screen. Before going off air, they'd play the national anthem. It was like a quiet moment, signaling the end of the day. And of course, there was that iconic phrase,
"It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?"
reminding parents to check in on their kids. Those little traditions made bedtime feel like a ritual, something we don't see on TV anymore. Saturday mornings had their own kind of magic. You'd pour a bowl of cereal, plop down in front of the TV, and get lost in Schoolhouse Rock, Fat Albert, Transformers, and others like them. No pause button, no rewinding, just you, your favorite shows, and a few quiet hours that felt like they were made just for kids. Back then, the family car wasn't just transportation, it was a rolling playground. Those big old station wagons could hold a whole pack of us, and not one of us wore a seatbelt. Riding in the way back, whether in a wagon or a pickup, felt like a rite of passage. We played games, watched the cars behind us, and every now and then made goofy faces at the drivers. Sometimes we'd just look out the window as if watching a captivating movie. No air conditioning, no gadgets, just the windows down, wind in our hair, and the freedom of the open road.
There's a secret here tonight, real good secret here tonight. Clap your hands and smack your lips for Arthur Treacher's original fish and chips. Shh.
For many of us, Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips was one of the most popular spots for a quick seafood meal. The moment you walked in, you could smell the crispy battered fish and thick-cut fries, often served with malt vinegar and those famous hush puppies. At its peak, there were over 800 locations across America. Families would stop in after errands or a day out, and it always felt like a little treat. Today, only one remains, Holding On in Ohio. Even if you haven't tasted it in decades, just hearing the name can bring back that warm, mouth-watering memory. In the 1970s, nothing screamed cool kid like cruising the neighborhood on a banana seat bike. These brightly colored bikes with their long, cushioned seats and high-rise handlebars were the ultimate ride for every kid. They were perfect for popping wheelies, racing your friends, or just gliding around the block pretending you were Evel Knievel. The banana seat made it easy to double up with a friend, or sneak your little brother along for the ride. We loved it when our parents took us to the drive-in on a Friday or Saturday night. Mom would dress us in pajamas, pack some popcorn from home, and we'd all pile into the car like it was an adventure. That big metal speaker on the window felt like the future. Once we got a little older, the movie wasn't always the main focus. Some of us remember having our first kiss while the film played quietly in the background. Those nights felt special, even if we didn't realize it at the time.
The Pet Rock, introduced in 1975, was...
Somewhere around 1975, the must-have toy didn't light up or make noise. It was a Pet Rock. For $4, you got a smooth stone tucked into a little cardboard carrier with breathing holes, a bed of straw, and a tongue-in-cheek manual that taught it to sit, stay, roll over, and play dead. Not all of us owned one, but everyone remembers the craze. And we still smile at how a rock in a box became the one thing every kid suddenly had to have. Metal lunchboxes, decorated with characters from our favorite shows, were a real icon of school days and lunch breaks. Whether it was Star Wars or Ghostbusters on the outside, these lunchboxes were more than just containers. They were a statement. Carrying one made you feel ready for whatever the school day might bring. For many of us, That favorite metal lunchbox wasn't just practical, it was a little treasure, a daily dose of pop culture to carry along. So, do you remember your lunchbox? Walk into almost any home back then, and your feet would sink into a thick, fluffy shag rug. They showed up everywhere: living rooms, bedrooms, even the occasional bathroom. The colors were pure 70s, bold oranges, avocado greens, and golden yellows. They looked cozy, but cleaning them was another story. Pet hair, crumbs, and mystery bits disappeared deep into the pile. That's where the famous shag rake came in. Kids loved dragging it back and forth like they were grooming some giant furry creature. For a lot of us, that carpet wasn't just flooring, it was part of the heart of the home.
Here's to S&H green stamps.
And here's to the stores that give them.
S&H green stamps.
Now this was peak 70s shopping culture. Your mom probably had a whole drawer stuffed with these little green stamps, and if you were lucky, you got to help lick them and stick them into the redemption book. It was like collecting baseball cards, but instead of trading for Mickey Mantle, you were saving up for a new toaster or a set of drinking glasses. And when you finally had enough stamps to cash in, pure victory. Kids today will never know the thrill of flipping through that catalog, dreaming about what you could buy for free.
This is Casey Kasem in Hollywood, and we're counting down the 100 top songs of the past.
Every week, Casey Kasem's voice filled living rooms and car radios across America as he brought us the Top 40 Countdown. His warm, iconic voice wasn't just announcing songs, it was creating memories. Whether you were sitting in your bedroom with a cassette recorder ready to capture your favorite tune or cruising down the highway with the windows down, Casey made sure you knew the biggest hits of the week. He didn't just play music, he shared stories behind the songs and the artists, making every countdown feel personal. For many, his show was the soundtrack to weekends and a reminder of how music connected us all. In the 70s, record stores were more than just places to buy music. They were cultural hubs. People would wander through aisles filled with vinyl, flipping through album covers, finding new artists, or revisiting their favorites. It wasn't about streaming or digital downloads. Everything was tangible, and the thrill of finding that rare album you had been searching for was like discovering buried treasure. Record stores were where music came alive, and where countless memories of browsing, chatting with store clerks, and picking the perfect album were made. There was a time when roller skating was everywhere, and everyone was doing it. After school, on weekends, out in the street or at the park, you'd hear the sound of those wheels before you saw them. Some skated in big four-wheel boots with bold colors. Others clipped metal skates onto their sneakers and took off. It was a mix of fun and fashion. Feathered hair, short shorts, tall socks, and that smooth, steady rhythm that some people just seemed born with. Skating wasn't about getting somewhere. It was about the ride and how cool you felt while doing it. Rock concerts in the 1970s were the ultimate communal experience. Whether it was Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, or Fleetwood Mac, these events weren't just about the music. They were about the energy, the freedom, and the connection. Fans packed into massive arenas or outdoor festivals, holding up lighters during ballads, singing every lyric like an anthem. It wasn't just a concert. It was a celebration of rebellion, youth, and identity. And even if you didn't have the best seats, you felt like you were part of something monumental. The roar of the crowd, the sound of live instruments, it was pure magic.
Star Wars, a billion years.
For a lot of us, Star Wars was the first movie we ever saw in a theater, and we never forgot it. The lines wrapped around the building, even weeks after it opened. We collected the action figures, quoted the lines, and tried to make our own sound effects with our mouths. Waiting for the sequels felt like forever, and when Han Solo showed up at the end to save the day, the whole place went wild. It wasn't just a movie, it was a moment, and it stuck with us for life. In the 1970s, Pong wasn't just a game, it was a revolution. As one of the first video games ever created, Pong brought the arcade experience to life in the simplest yet most captivating way. 2 paddles, a bouncing ball, and a race to score points. It didn't need flashy graphics to keep players hooked. Whether you played it at home on an Atari console or in a dimly lit arcade, Pong was a phenomenon that sparked the gaming industry as we know it today. It was more than a game. It was the beginning of a new way to have fun. Before the days of remote controls, changing the channel meant getting up and manually turning the dial. There was no skipping through channels with a click of a button. You had to physically get up, walk over to the TV, and turn the knob. It's hard to imagine now, but that simple task was part of the daily routine. And when you finally found the channel you wanted, it felt like a small triumph. Sears wasn't just a store, it was part of how we grew up. We'd flip through those thick catalogs, especially the Christmas one, circling toys we knew we'd probably never get, but dreaming anyway. They sold everything: clothes, bikes, even entire house kits. Some of us still have a Kenmore appliance running, or a Craftsman toolbox in the garage. It really was the store for everything. And if Sears was part of your childhood too, I've got a full video about it on my channel. It brings back a lot. Tree houses and backyard forts were more than just play spaces. They felt like our own little escape. Sometimes we helped build them from old boards. Other times, Dad took the lead while we stood nearby, waiting for it to be finished. Once it was up, it became anything we needed it to be: a clubhouse, a spaceship, a castle, or just a place to be by ourselves for a while. That little space meant more to us than most people ever knew.
The Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch and Happy Days weren't just TV shows. They were the essence of family life and friendship in the 70s. The Bradys gave us a perfect image of an all-American family, while Happy Days captured the fun and excitement of growing up in the 50s and 60s, even though it aired in the 70s. Watching these shows wasn't just about the storylines. It was about the sense of comfort and familiarity. The catchy theme songs, the familiar faces, and the sense of togetherness made them the perfect escape from everyday life, and they still evoke feelings of nostalgia today. For anyone in the 70s, the CB radio was more than just a communication tool. It was a social lifeline.
Breaker 19, Breaker 19.
This phrase became part of the vernacular as drivers across the country used their radios to talk, joke, or even warn each other about traffic ahead. It wasn't just truckers using CB radios. Everyone had one in their car or home, creating a community of voices over the airwaves. The freedom to talk to strangers and form connections made CB radios a symbol of both independence and camaraderie. Mood rings were everywhere for a while, and even if we knew they changed color from the warmth of your finger, that didn't stop us from believing they could read our emotions. They felt a little mysterious, a little magical. Our sisters had them, our moms wore them, and eventually, we wanted one too. Watching the colors shift was half the fun. Blue meant calm, green meant happy, and if it turned black, well, that usually wasn't a good sign. It was a simple little ring, but somehow it made us feel like we were in on a secret. Before we had playlists or even cassettes, there were 8-track tapes. These chunky cartridges were a must-have for music lovers in the 70s, especially in cars. Sliding one into the stereo and hearing that satisfying click meant you were ready for a road trip soundtrack. Sure, they were far from perfect. Sometimes the music would awkwardly pause to switch tracks, but they brought the magic of albums into your daily life. From classic rock to disco, 8 tracks were how we jammed out and shared music with friends. They were imperfect, but they were ours.
Presenting, gee, your hair smells terrific. Very gentle, fragrant shampoo and same fragrance conditioner.
In the 1970s, there was one shampoo that stood out not just for how it made your hair look, but for how it made it smell. With a name as unforgettable as its scent, this shampoo became a sensation for its unique, floral fragrance that seemed to linger all day. It wasn't just about hair care, it was about making an impression. People genuinely noticed and complimented the scent, which became a conversation starter and a confidence boost. For anyone who used it, that iconic bottle and its unforgettable aroma are tied to memories of carefree days and a time when the little things brought a lot of joy. Lava lamps were more than just home decor. They were a mesmerizing symbol of the 70s. With their slow-moving, colorful blobs floating up and down in liquid, they brought a sense of calm and wonder to any room. People loved to turn them on and just stare, especially during late-night conversations or while listening to their favorite records. It wasn't just a lamp, it was an experience, adding a touch of groovy, psychedelic vibes to homes everywhere.
Here comes your present. There you are. Happy birthday.
Big spender.
Oh, you sweet belle.
In a world before selfies and instant uploads, Polaroid cameras were pure magic. You'd snap a picture, wait a minute, and watch as the image slowly appeared on the film in your hand. They turned every moment into a keepsake, whether it was a birthday, a road trip, or just a random day with friends. Polaroids weren't about perfection. They were about capturing the feeling of the moment. And that white border around the photo? It made every snapshot feel like its own little piece of history. Back in the 70s, hitchhiking wasn't seen as dangerous. It was just another way to get where you were going. If you didn't have a car, no problem. More often than not, a friendly driver would slow down, roll down the window, and offer you a ride. You'd swap stories, share a laugh, and maybe make a new friend along the way. Gas was cheaper, people seemed more open, and there was a kind of unspoken trust between folks on the road. Today, it might sound risky, but back then, hitchhiking was a mix of freedom, adventure, and the simple belief that most people were good. In the 70s, kids couldn't get enough of wacky packages. These were trading cards and stickers that spoofed the everyday products we saw in the store, turning familiar brands into silly, often ridiculous names with funny artwork. You'd peel the stickers and slap them on school notebooks, lockers, or even your bedroom door. Part of the fun was seeing if your friends had the same ones, or trading to complete a set. They were cheap, easy to find at the corner store, and guaranteed a laugh. Even now, it's hard not to smile when you see one of those goofy, twisted brand names from our childhood. On those hot summer afternoons, the garden hose was more than just for watering the lawn. It was our fountain, our sprinkler, and sometimes our best toy. We'd take turns bending over to gulp that cool, slightly metallic-tasting water, wiping our mouths with the back of our hands before passing it to the next kid. And it never stopped there. Pretty soon someone would put a thumb over the end, sending a spray across the yard. In seconds, we'd all be running, shrieking, and getting soaked, turning an ordinary backyard into our own water park. Simple, free, and unforgettable.
Orange-flavored Tang, with rich, natural flavor and more vitamin C than orange juice.
Long before sports drinks filled the shelves, we had Tang, the bright orange powder you'd stir into a pitcher of water until it turned that unmistakable color. It wasn't just any drink. NASA had made it famous when astronauts took it into space, and suddenly every kid wanted a glass. The taste was sweet, tangy, and just a little artificial, but we loved it. Some kids even ate it dry, letting the powder fizz on their tongues like candy. Whether you drank it because you liked it or because it made you feel a little like an astronaut, Tang was a kitchen staple in the 70s. In most homes of the 70s, there was just one main phone, usually mounted on the kitchen wall or sitting in the living room. When it rang, you never knew who was calling, and privacy was almost impossible. If you were lucky enough to have two phones in the house, someone could quietly pick up the other one and hear every word. And in some areas, you even shared a party line with neighbors, which meant you could pick up and catch part of their conversation too. It was a time when every ring felt important, and answering the phone was just a little adventure of its own. In that time, it seemed like everyone was wearing bell-bottoms. From kids heading to school to rock stars on stage, those wide flared legs were everywhere. They swished when you walked, covered half your shoes, and sometimes even dragged on the ground. Denim was the most popular, but you could find them in corduroy, polyester, and wild patterns that matched the decade's bold style. Whether you paired them with platform shoes or a simple t-shirt, bell-bottoms had a way of making you feel just a little cooler. And looking back, nothing says 1970s fashion quite like that dramatic flare at the bottom. Walk into a kitchen or living room back then, and you'd see colors that didn't hold back. Avocado green, banana yellow, and bright neon orange. These bold earth tones showed up on everything: furniture, appliances, clothes, even accessories. Designers swore they were warm and inviting, but they were also impossible to forget. They became part of everyday life and slipped into countless family photos. Spot that avocado green today, and it's like stepping right back into a time when style was fearless and color was everywhere. Back then, some of the most popular stores came right to your home. Tupperware parties were part shopping trip, part neighborhood get-together, with friends gathered around the table, checking out the latest pastel bowls and airtight lids. Avon visits worked the same way. The Avon lady would stop by with her little case of perfumes and lipstick samples, and maybe even a new catalog for you to flip through. Maybe your mom or grandmother hosted these parties, or sold the products themselves. It wasn't just about buying things. It was a reason to sit, talk, and share a few laughs with people you knew. Tie-dye clothing wasn't just a fashion statement. It was a symbol of creativity and individuality. Whether you bought a made shirt or tried your hand at making one at home, each piece was unique. The vibrant swirls of color captured the carefree and expressive spirit of the night. For young fans, it was a direct link to the stars they loved, the era's embrace of freedom, peace, and self-expression. You couldn't go to a concert. Before social media, Tiger Beat was as close as you could get to having your favorite star right there with you, smiling from the page. Tab was one of the most recognizable diet sodas of its time. With its pink and white label and bold lettering, it stood out instantly on the store shelf. Introduced by Coca-Cola in the 60s, it quickly gained a loyal following, especially among women looking for a lighter alternative to regular cola. Looking back, the taste wasn't exactly amazing. A little odd, maybe even bitter, though some people really did love it. Even though it's been gone from most stores for years, just hearing the name can bring back memories of that one-of-a-kind flavor and the era when it was everywhere. Saturday Night Live burst onto TV screens in 1975, and it wasn't like anything we'd seen before. Live sketches, sharp political satire, and a cast of young comedians who'd soon become household names. Chevy Chase, Gilda Radner, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd. The show mixed pop culture, music, and a bit of chaos in a way that made staying up late on Saturday night worth it. Even the opening line became an instant classic.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Candle-drip Chianti bottles were a staple of 1970s decor. You'd start with an empty Chianti wine bottle, stick in a candle, and let the melted wax slowly build up over weeks or months. Layer after layer of reds, blues, and yellows would drip down the sides, turning it into a colorful, one-of-a-kind piece. They often became the centerpiece of a cozy corner, glowing softly during family dinners or quiet evenings. And when the candle burned low, the bottle stood there like a little time capsule, holding on to the colors and moments of the years it had seen. Back in the 70s, if your school books didn't have a custom-made brown paper cover, were you even trying? We weren't about to let those textbooks get all beat up. So we grabbed a paper grocery bag, folded it just right, and boom, instant book cover. But the best part? Decorating it. Doodling your name in bubble letters, drawing Led Zeppelin logos, or covering it in stickers from your favorite band. By the end of the year, that book cover had more personality than the actual textbook inside. Let's be real, the 70s were the golden era of music. If you didn't have a vinyl collection back then, were you even living? Whether you were blasting the Bee Gees, dancing to Stayin' Alive, or rocking out to Led Zeppelin, the music of the 70s had a vibe that you can't match. It wasn't just on the radio, it was in your soul. And let's not forget about disco. The glitter, the platforms, the moves on the dance floor. Nothing beats a Saturday night at the disco ball-lit club. The 70s truly had it all when it came to tunes. In the 70s, if you missed a family dinner, you were pretty much out of the loop. It wasn't just about eating, it was about connecting. Dinner time was sacred. The TV was off. The phones, if they even existed, were put away, and it was a no-excuse rule. Whether it was meatloaf, spaghetti, or that green Jell-O with the weird fruit inside, you know the one. Everyone gathered round the table. And if you were lucky, Dad would carve the turkey, even if it wasn't Thanksgiving. It was just a time for the family to talk, laugh, and share the day. Oh man, the thrill of hitting record on your cassette tape just in time to catch that perfect song. There was no Spotify, no YouTube. If you wanted your favorite tune, You had to pray the DJ didn't talk over the intro and that the radio station didn't mess up your recording. You'd listen to that tape on repeat, hoping the signal didn't fade out or get interrupted by some random ad. And let's be honest, those homemade mixtapes, pure gold. Every time you heard those songs, it took you right back to the moment you first pressed record. The classic American road trip. Before GPS, Waze, and smartphones, there were maps. The kind you had to unfold in the car, usually with one hand on the wheel and the other trying to keep it from blowing away. Road trips in the 70s were all about the journey, not the destination. Whether you were crammed in the back of a station wagon or packed into a van, the adventure was just as much about the stops as it was about the drive. Gas stations with those classic signs, grabbing a snack at a roadside diner, and never asking, "Are we there yet?" Oh, and don't forget those magical moments when the whole family sang along to the radio, usually to the same 5 songs over and over.
It's Christmas! It's Christmas! What's happening? Pop Rocks! Introducing Pop Rocks!
Let's talk about the candy and soda that ruled the 70s. Those were the days when a trip to the corner store felt like stepping into a candy wonderland. We had everything from Pop Rocks, the ones that exploded in your mouth, to Fun Dip, which was basically just sugar on sugar. And don't even get me started on candy cigarettes. They were basically a rite of passage for every 70s kid, even if they didn't have a single ounce of nicotine in them. As for soda, Tab was the go-to diet drink, but the true classic was a Coca-Cola in those glass bottles. Something about that taste just hit different. In the 70s, being outside wasn't just an option, it was a lifestyle. No one had a smartphone to distract them, so you spent your days riding bikes, playing stickball, or just exploring the neighborhood. The best part? You knew it was time to head home when the streetlights flickered on. That's when the real rush started. You'd race against time, praying you made it back before your mom shouted your name out the window. Those long summer days felt endless, and the world outside your door was an adventure waiting to happen. Carbon paper was the secret weapon for anyone who needed to make multiple copies by hand. Want to jot down your homework answers or write a letter but don't have a copier? No problem. Just slide that thin sheet between 2 pieces of paper, press down, and boom, you've got yourself a duplicate. It wasn't perfect, but for a 70s kid, it was a total game changer. The coolest part? You could hear it working. The soft scratch of the pen on the paper, leaving that faint imprint of your thoughts. Before cell phones ruled the world, if you needed to make a call, you'd have to hunt down a payphone. And it wasn't just as easy as picking it up. Oh no, you had to fish out a coin, a quarter, maybe even a dime, and you'd pray you didn't need to make a long call. If you didn't have enough change, you'd be stuck listening to that annoying beep as it ate your last coin, and you'd have to hang up and try to scrounge up more. But when you did have enough change, it was a mini victory. And let's not forget that satisfying sound of a coin dropping into the slot, ding ding. Malls in the 70s were the hangout spot, and if you didn't spend your weekends there, were you really living? You'd meet up with your friends, cruise around the food court, and check out the latest fashions. Half the time just to try on stuff you had no intention of buying. But the real magic? The arcade. The flashing lights, the buzzy sounds, and those classic games like Pac-Man and Pinball. It was a whole different world. Getting a high score or winning a ticket jackpot felt like pure glory. And hey, if you got a handful of tokens, you were set for the day. Monday Night Football in the 70s wasn't just a game, it was an event. People gathered around their TVs like it was a national holiday. The excitement, the drama, and of course, the announcers with their legendary voices that made every touchdown feel like a grand moment. Whether you were sitting on the couch with your family or with a group of friends, the energy was unmatched. The halftime shows, the famous theme music, and the rivalry between teams. It was the perfect way to kick off the week. No matter what happened, Monday night felt like it belonged to football fans. Clotheslines used to stretch across just about every backyard. You'd see shirts, jeans, and towels hanging in rows, swaying in the breeze while the sun did the drying. The smell of fresh laundry after a day outside, it really was something else. Moms had their way of doing things, and we knew not to run through and knock anything down. And in some yards, they're still there, doing exactly what they always did. Thanks for watching till the end. I hope this video brought back some warm memories and good feelings. Be sure to check out the rest of my channel. There are plenty more videos that will take you right back to those good old days we'll never forget. See you in the next video.